great to be back at MWC. I just love the energy of 50,000 to 100,000 people connecting. It's also amazing to see a lot of familiar faces in the room. And what I really love, there's 50,000 people, and you walk around and you meet old colleagues and you see people, and it's nice to see how we all get together. For those of you who don't know us, we are Kigen. We are an eSIM component supplier, very much looking at how we can secure the world of IoT. There we go. Yes, sorry. We were originally born in ARM. ARM is the semiconductor IP company, and we spun out about 3 years ago into our own company to really focus on this and help you secure IoT so that it becomes better lives for all of us. And we come out of the ARM ecosystem, we very much focused on devices. So we think that device makers are going to be essential into the scaling of IoT. GSMA is predicting that the IoT connectivities in the next year are going to double. They're mainly driven by eSIM, and that's really important to kind of look at how device makers are actually taking those security elements and going to market. If IoT is going to double in the next year, they will actually start outstripping some of the mobile shipments. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this technology is moving from our mobile phone into the IoT ecosystem. So I'll be looking a little bit on that in detail. I think there's 3 areas I would like to focus on. First is how do we scale for mass markets? If we are doubling, and maybe doubling again, clearly the production has to ramp up. Secondly, how do we do connected manufacturing? We've got a couple of use cases, a couple of studies we've done with customers, and we've learned quite a few lessons I would like to share with you. And then last but not least, I do think that this MWC is very much the MWC of AI. The last 12 months, now AI has been in the forefront, but for IoT we also have a really important role to play, and I'd like to look at that as well. 90% of all CEOs out there are saying that AI is super important for their company, and they want to know how they can play. So I think we as an ecosystem around IoT, it's a very important part to look at. So my first use case is smart meters. Smart meters are more and more switching to cellular. They're switching to cellular, difficult word to say, because actually the deployment is really easy. And nowadays, we've been working as an industry, everybody in this room here, to get that price point of the connectivity and the modem down. When we were looking at that about 10 years ago, and we were predicting that, the modems were probably $30. And nowadays, with the narrowband IoT, with the Cat-M modems, dollars are going sub $10. With sub $10, it becomes really competitive with many other solutions. And cellular is now easy to deploy. You don't have to do much with the installation, so it's a really fast accelerating part of the market. However, it is also important that you get connectivity everywhere. I need to forget my prop, apologies. So connectivity everywhere, so Philip already talked about satellite, and I think we are seeing that. Last year and the year before, actually we introduced our partner Skylo, and Kigen and Skylo have been working together, and I'm very happy to show you a new phone. It's a EULA phone, and it's the first Kigen eSIM-enabled satellite phone. So it's a really nice. We have announced it this morning, and we're very pleased with it. And you can see, although this is not quite an IoT device, but you can see that there's a real momentum, there's a real surge behind the connectivity and the ability for narrowband IoT and Cat-M to roam seamlessly onto satellite networks. That really will now open up many different areas of the world for energy metering solutions, and will help us drive that better world and a greener world. On your seat, you found a little card. We are working together with unconnected.org. Unconnected.org is trying to get people connected around the world who are not connected today. So now do look at that. We think it's a very worthy cause, and again, the combination of those modems and the satellites will drive that forward. The other challenge, especially around smart meters, but also other products coming to market, is battery life. And battery life impacts security, because some of the things we're doing, we're trying to do provisioning in the field. And some of the manufacturers are telling me that provisioning in the field of an eSIM takes 80% of the battery life of the device. This is quite an extreme use case, but if it takes 80% of the battery life, you don't particularly want to do provisioning in the field. So we've been working with some of the manufacturers to create a just-in-time provisioning, which effectively allows you to provision very late in the manufacturing stage, but just before you deploy. So that allows you to make sure that your device is tailored for the German market, for the US market, for all the different markets, at the right time of shipment, without having multiple SKUs. And at the same time, not having to do the update if you don't have the battery power for that. So we think it's really important, and it's really important to look at different solutions, look at the real problems that people in IoT have, and come up with solutions. This is also driven by the GSMA standards, so we're not doing this substandard, but it's very much now how we all work together and find real problems that help us scale IoT. Last but not least, AI. I've been talking about it for a little while, but I think that AI, I've read some reports where they say that generative AI, or ChatGPT-4, will run out of English language to consume in the next 2 years. So just think of that. In the next 2 years, the large language models will have eaten all English written text ever. Now, clearly, but here in Europe, there may be other languages, so maybe they can keep going for a while. But at some point, there's no more language to be had. And I really believe that the next phase for AI is to start eating the data of IoT. The IoT devices will now start generating data. It will create senses for the AI models, and the AI models will know what happens in the world. Now, initially, these AI models will now maybe advise us. Something is wrong here, something is wrong there. But the real value of AI is when AI starts taking decisions for us. Think about the Tesla autopilot. Now, that's quite an interesting, but also very difficult use case. And security, in that case, is really, really important. The data coming off the devices goes straight into the AI database, and the AI database will take decisions. If you can't trust the data, then you can't trust the decisions. So that's really important. 3 years ago, Paul Bradley from Kigen was talking to you about Open IoT Safe. And again, we are developing use cases where you can use Open IoT Safe. You can use that really good and very secure element of the eSIM to store some of the data and sign the data coming off the device so that you know that data is good data. So I think with AI, we're really going to get a big acceleration. Now, it takes a village to do this. So I was very pleased with Philip's talk, but we also would like to bring other people onto the stage. So I have the pleasure to invite Cameron Coursey on the stage, a local celebrity from AT&T, has been working on devices for many years, and he will give his view on how AT&T sees that we can simplify the world. So, Cameron.
So I'm your intermission or your halftime show before Vincent comes back onto the stage. I'm not going to sing or dance, but I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story for about 5 minutes. And really, why you might ask is AT&T Connected Solutions, which is our IoT arm, so interested in SIM cards and devices in this whole ecosystem? It's really because we believe that we're at an inflection point where we need to simplify the customer experience. You know, we serve a lot of customers in IoT, business customers mainly, but this applies to consumers as well and small businesses. And really, in order to penetrate this market to the extent that this whole room wants to, we have to make it simpler for our customers. Because honestly, they're out there doing what they do, providing heavy machinery or smart meters. They don't know anything about cellular, and they shouldn't have to understand it. But if we keep it complex, it means that they're going to have problems and challenges, and it's going to take them time and money, and it's going to take the industry effort. And each time that happens, it raises the challenge of the cost of providing a solution to them too. So if you look at the customer journey, and that's what you see up here, we really think that fundamentally we need to work on the first 3 legs of what a customer needs to go through in order to get connectivity. Because we're a connectivity provider. We know a lot about SIM cards. We purchase a heck of a lot of SIM cards. we know a lot about devices, but we don't purchase that many IoT devices ourselves. We help to enable the industry through certification of modules and through making sure that our customers understand through great engineering services that we can provide how to deploy. But we can't do it alone. We need the industry to work with us on this. So I have a challenge for all of us, including GSMA and the Mobile IoT Initiative that we're going to talk about very briefly here. And really, it's going to come down to, I believe, 3 areas that we need to focus on. The first is certification and streamlining that. And when I talk about certification, I'm talking about both the device side and the SIM side. If a customer is trying to deploy a device and it's global in nature, then they have to worry about getting government approval for that device wherever they're going to go. In the United States, it's the FCC. Then they have to worry about getting industry certification through the global GCF, or in the United States, it's PTCRB. A lot of acronyms that they might or might not know what they are. And then they have to worry about the certification of the carriers as well. So there's 3 steps that they have to go through, and each of them tests different things, and they test them for a really good reason, but we have to make it simpler. So that's number 1. And while we're doing that, one of the key things that our industry provides, and it's been talked about here, is security. We cannot compromise the level of security. That's how mobile IoT, one of the key tenets of how cellular has been successful in mobile IoT, is providing a very secure solution. So as we streamline certification, we cannot give up the integrity of the security. And secondly, it is simplifying the hardware options. By that, what do I mean? If you are trying to deploy a device, an IoT device in the United States, you may have different options from module suppliers that let you work better on one carrier versus another because of the difference in frequency bands that the carriers use. The suppliers do this in order to lower the cost of those modules, but they make it harder for the customers because now they have to know, okay, which carrier am I going to use? They have to pick the right one. If they pick the wrong one, the device doesn't work that well. We have to simplify that. And the third area is smart provisioning, and this is where I think a lot of the things that Kigen and others are working on comes into play. The ability to personalize that SIM card, especially an embedded SIM or an integrated SIM, locally, so that it will work right out of the box for the customer. These are the key things that we believe the industry needs to work on, and we're here to work on it. So love to work with all of you and GSMA on that. All right, thank you, Vincent. Back to you.
Okay. Well, and perfectly within your 5 minutes. Fantastic. Slides. So thank you very much. The key call to action is for all of us to work on simplification. If you are interested, come and talk to us at Kigen. We were very interested in solving your problems, understanding how we can get to market, how we can scale faster, how we can really help you to be successful. Because that's all the partnership model we have. We can only be successful together, and it's really important to work together and unlock those things, make it simpler. It takes a village, as they say, to get IoT off the ground. So we are really excited to do that. And come and talk to us. So thank you very much, and see you around this afternoon.